Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and a very special show. This is just the best ball playoff preview. That's right. We're talking everything best ball playoffs, everything week 15, 16, 17, everything we're going to be sweating, the best way to sweat, low owned players, different contests to sweat, matchups for weeks 15, 16, 17. We're doing all that in just 1 minute.
Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
New intro. Who is this? Love the new intro. Shout out to, of course, Bruni putting the video together. Of course, Jamie P-Raga putting the song together. We already had introduced or premiered the song, the whole song, but we took part of the song and made it a new intro. So big thanks to Jamie. Big thanks to Bruni. We are so excited for the new intro and appreciate it. Of course, he did a Degen Dad's new intro too, and just freaking amazing. Absolutely love that. Steve, how are you feeling? We're a couple days away from best ball playoffs beginning after you drafted 2,500 teams across Underdog Drafters, DraftKings this summer. Now we see it all come to fruition in 3 weeks. How are you feeling, my brother, my friend?
It is a grind. There is no question about it. Doing all those drafts, obviously like the last month didn't break my way as I was hoping. Still had just about 20% advance rate on UD. And, drafters, still a few teams live for some decent paydays, but probably not going to, hit the top of the leaderboard like I was hoping early in the year. And then DraftKings, my advance rate was, I think I figured out it was like 17.6% or something like that. So a little down from last year, but, hoping to get some of these teams through. A lot of people had it, the bad runouts on some of these injuries, and that's just the nature of the beast. But it's now playoff time. We also have the season-long stuff to sweat out, namely you with the marathon. And we'll get into it, but, one of Underdog's, newer flagship tournaments is the Sprint, which, getting to this point was one thing, but now it's a completely different animal. So excited for all of it and looking forward and hoping to get a couple teams to have some big Week 17 sweats.
Yeah, let me catch up with our amazing chat. Of course, if you're watching over on Twitter, come over to YouTube, say hi like these amazing people. Hit that like button. We certainly appreciate it. Of course, if you're not subscribed for some reason to the Fanspeak Network, make sure you're subscribed. 150 away to 1,000 subs once Big Board starts. If we're at 1,000, we will plan a 24-hour live stream. And of course, finally, check out the link in the description. The Fanspeak Degen Substack. Bruni just did a new logo for that as well. You get stuff from us pretty much every single day off season for NFL bets, DFS, Underdog Dailies. Just sent Underdog Daily rankings today. We'll be sending our DFS survey and Thursday night bets tomorrow. And then, Big Board season and best ball season will be back before you know it. And you'll get rankings in all the different formats, not just Underdog, but DraftKings and all the Underdog formats like Marathon, Sprint, Superflex, all these things. Pretty good value, I'd say, for just $34.99. So check that. And that's not $34.99 a month. That's $34.99 for a year. Link in the description. Please check it out if you haven't already. Then come over to our Discord as well. Have some fun there. All right, let's get to some chat, comments, talk a little just general best ball talk, but then I'll talk about everything we're going to cover here in this show. Obviously, first time doing this show. It's not like a format show, but we have certain things we want to talk about that hopefully you guys appreciate as you're getting ready to prep the best ball playoffs sweat. And it is a sweat. I have to say, of all the different sweats I've had, betting, DFS, I have to think, I think best ball is the most intense. Would you agree with that before I get to chat?
Yeah, no, I agree. One, because it becomes a 3-week sweat. Whether you're doing playoff format, marathon format, sprint format, it's a 3-week sweat. And then getting into the finals, it just, even these other things like DraftKings or the dailies, that's just the main slate, right? Or whatever slate you're choosing. This is every game. Like you and I know, it went right down to the wire for both of us last year.
Yeah.
The Jahmyr Gibbs, unnecessary run in my book, cost me a spot in the big board finals and would, ended up being like $15,000. And even as simple as for you in a much smaller finals, Jared Goff kneeling at the end moved you up a place because those negative like 0.2 points were the difference between a place and a place for that was like $1,000. These things are just can end up being so minute. And so like the edge of one extra yard here,
extra catch here,
one extra catch here, that half point, even like a half point no gain, could end up being the difference between, and not just
first for who you're rooting against too. Like, you're sweating a pod. Remember, I needed to make it to the Bulldog finals. I needed Christian Watson to not go over like a certain amount of catches and, that kind of stuff. It's like, it is wild because like you said, it's a 3 weeks wet no matter what format you're in. And it is just so intense because every yard, every catch, of course, every touchdown means the world, means everything to your sweat. So let's get to chat. Then we will talk about what we're going to be talking about and dive into it. Of course, we got our chat lord, Mike Robb. He's the GOAT. Time for the summer to finally mean something. LOL. Absolutely. Great to have the Power family back on the stream. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's kind of wild times for Fanspeak headquarters behind the scenes. Just lots going on business-wise, but we'll get it all done and figured away during this crazy holiday season and crazy, best ball sweat. But we appreciate you, Mike. And remind me, Steve, to update what the schedule is. Right? I did it on Substack and Discord, but I'll update that as well. We got, of course, Andrew, the TD King in here, fam. I'm still under the weather, but excited for the best ball playoffs. So yes, Andrew is sick on our IR for tonight, but probable for Friday night. So Andrew, feel better, rest up. Get ready for Friday, Degen Dad's doubleheader, but also, of course, your best ball playoff sweat that all begins for us Thursday. Fam, I'm still hungover, but excited for the best ball playoffs. Yes, Goats cards, as Mike so often teases me. No, Charles Go Easy cards, appearance at the Dog Bowl. I hope you had an amazing Dog Bowl experience this weekend in Kansas City with Chad Candles and all the other amazing people. We were rooting for you, my friend, and great to hear from you and see you in here. Great to see our guy Paul in here. It is money making season. That's right. That's what they say, that it all comes down to week 17. It all starts week 15 and all starts tomorrow night. Love the color of my shirt. Fantasy football and Espanol. Thank you. And the combination with the makeup, with all the respect in the world. Thank you. Any compliment is, I'll take it. I appreciate it. That is very, very, very kind of you. It's Podluck season, says Hockey Hooligan. Good to see you in here. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you can join us for all our content. Basically shows almost every weekday, no matter what season it is. And right now it is best ball playoff season. Of course, the author of the new intro song, Jamie in here, the other GOAT of the Fanspeak Network chat. Appreciate you. And then we got Sean in here. Sean and Steve, I don't know if you've even been able to, you've been so busy. Let Sean know that him and I have a husky sweat together.
Yeah. Let people know tonight. I didn't do that many streams with others on stream. Definitely next year I'm going to do a lot more of those. But yeah, that Husky, it was Husky 2, I think, that we did, Sean, with Meg after we came on doing the training camp news.
Those training camp news were so fun on August. Yeah,
we advanced. So we'll I'll post that to you and we'll have to sweat that out. And I'll have to look at who else made through. I think I got 2 teams with Hartman. So those will be fun. But I'll let people know tonight. I was waiting until after Underdog updated everything.
Yeah.
That way we could also look at like what pods we're in and stuff like that. As well as Hockey Hooligan just said, it is, pod luck becomes real. So yeah, I will let people know tonight.
Yeah, and as we go through kind of the first part of what we're sweating, I have a couple stream teams that I'm sweating with a lot with you, and then some with some friends of best ball folks that I'll mention. But yeah, Sean Mitchell, check him out. Had him on a couple times this year on, I think, Andrew had him on. I had him on Friends of Best Ball. You had him on, we had him on together doing training camp talk. So yeah, it is time. A tradition, he says, a yearly tradition like any other, building hedge lineups in the dailies from your final best ball teams. That's hysterical. Yeah, I am so superstitious that I think I play less during these weeks because I'm like just so anxious. But Jamie, going back to watch the intro. Charles loves the new intro. This is hysterical. Steve, he loves the color of your shirt. It matches your eyes. And hashtag no Diddy. It's absolutely hysterical. Yeah, this is a great point, Paul. If you've advanced the sprint team, you're already in the congrats. You are already in the finals. And that is so true. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about. We got Kicks in here. Great to see you, Kicks. Print money since day one. We'll hopefully keep printing money these next 3 weeks. I could certainly use that, and we're all rooting for that. Yeah, Sean, excited to see the Husky team. You know, Steve will DM you that Husky team to sweat out this week. Charles says, appreciate it. Wish I could have brought it home for the fam. Play off best ball. It is. Yeah, let's go. We got 3 weeks to sweat, and then we will get in to start doing actual playoff best ball drafts here. I'm too superstitious to do it until after week 17. But after week 17, I'm sure we're going to have a ton of playoff best ball content up until that, because they're all out now. The gauntlet, the mitten, everything is out now. So yeah, let's go. Let's get some finals. I want to see the Fanspeak Discord, the Fanspeak show chats, just chatting it up with either sprint or marathon sweats or of course some finals sweats. We've got Stephen McDevitt in here, a subscriber. Appreciate you. I'm running a 5K and listening to the show. That is amazing, Stephen. I need to take a page from your book and run a 5K or get do something more active here. So you're an inspiration, and that is so awesome to hear that you are running a 5K and listening to the show. And he is ready and excited for best ball playoffs. All right, the format for tonight is everything best ball playoffs. So we will jump into, we both posted it, but our advance rates, but the teams we're most excited about, the teams that we have with some other people in the industry. I think it's going to be fun this year, Steve, to see how many potential co-stream teams. I hope, one of our sibling showdowns is one of them, make the finals. I think that's going to be really fun, because I know there's, like, in years past, like I know Pete Overzet and Eric Bindfor had one along, like, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, but like now that's such a common practice to, these co-stream teams, and how many of those will make any kind of finals will be fun to see. I think kind of how to sweat, how we're going to best sweat through BBMDB and our exposures, and especially ones on the teams that we feel like have the most legs. Of course, monitoring injuries for week 15, low owned playoff players. Joe Burrow. I only got 2 Joe Burrow teams through, the Mike Evans of the world. How many of those are getting through, and what could they do? The power of that. Talking about the sprint and marathon and how that is a different sweat, because in obviously the playoff style contest, every week is its own sweat. Whereas the sprint and marathon, that is, you really have to have that cumulative mindset, bringing over fancy pros and showing last year, Steve, I think last year people think Saquon sucked and he had a great season, but he sucked. He didn't suck. And if you had him in like the sprint, or even the marathon, he had a terrible, he and Derrick Henry, I know because they were both on my Bulldog team, had an absolutely terrible week 15. But Saquon had an amazing, and I think Henry did too, amazing week 16 and a great, good to great week 17. So if you accumulate them together, I believe they scored more than Jamar Chase, who never really ever talks about in that same regard last year. So it's very interesting. And so the sprint and marathon formats let you sweat a little differently. So go ahead.
And another one on that is Josh Allen. He was the week 15 king, like almost 50 points. But week 16 and week 17 were like blowouts, so they didn't need them. Yeah. His week 15 against Lions, both him and Goff were QB 1 and 2. And Goff had some okay games week 16, 17, but Allen did not, because he was into essentially blowouts. I think Jets and Dolphins maybe. But it ended, like in a sprint format, you absolutely would want a Josh Allen team if you had another, other viable quarterback for those other 2 weeks, because he's getting you so much more points above the field.
Right.
And, so it's the same sort of thing. Like, and that was one where, yes, if you had him in playoff best ball format, yes, he's advancing you to week 16, but then you're done unless you have like a really good run out with your other quarterbacks. But having those cumulative points can just mean a lot when you get these, particularly when you get these massive spike weeks.
Yeah, No, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, those are very different types of sweats, but all are fun sweats. Like we said, no matter if it's a marathon, a sprint, or the playoff style sweat. And then we're going to talk matchups, week 15, 16, 17, which teams have or players have the best matchups. So we think which teams have the worst matchups. A lot different, maybe necessarily from what we thought at the beginning of the year. There are definitely some defenses. Sure, some defenses we knew were weak. Some defenses we knew were amazing, like the Broncos and Texans. But, now it's like the Texans, like in my Chargers exposure on week 17, I'm like, oh, like nobody scores anything against the Texans.
Yeah.
So, it's either kind of more amplified or, there are some teams that are surprisingly better or surprisingly worse as what we thought going into the season. So we'll talk through the matchups. And, of course, Steve, we're still freaking sad about Cam Scatterbo. I mean, there could be a drinking game for how many times we mentioned him during the draft season, but also, during the season we was crushing it and he was the league winner and then he gets injured and our advance rate went, I still miss him, but he may be the sweet, sweet chaperone that I needed because he is on literally, I think like 22% of my advanced teams. It's absolutely wild. We'll look at those kind of things as well. So a quick update on schedule for this week before we get into all this. So today, obviously, Degen dads are off. Andrew is out tonight, but probable for Friday. So it's just this playoff preview today. And then tomorrow we will do our regular Degen Power Hour since we weren't able to do it earlier in the week as an early look at, of course, the week 15 DFS and kind of some lineup building and underdog dailies, talk about Thursday night football bets. And then we will do early props preview, kind of like a mini prop party as an early props preview because we have other commitments that we have to do Friday. So then Friday, you get the doubleheader of the Degen Dads Friday night, 9:30 drafts and bets, underdog dailies and bets 2 for 1 with the Degen Dads 9:30 on Friday. And then Substack, you'll get stuff, underdog rankings today, DFS survey, either tomorrow or Friday, Thursday night bets tomorrow, Steve's top plays on Saturday. So plenty coming your way, but just wanted to update you on the schedule. I posted in Substack, I posted in Discord. Just wanted to update that. Meg heard running and then hit the 2.5 speed on her accurate takes. I mean, sometimes I do talk in that definitely 1.5 speed for sure. I'm going to pull over just because I thought I had fun summarizing through my Twitter account, Steve, which shows obviously BBMD, shout out the GOAT of, Diablo and Patrick Donovan. But as you see here, my best ball season took a dip when Scatterbo went down, but still at almost a 20% advance rate, 19.9 here. And as you can see, it did really go down after that, after the Scatterbo injury. I peaked at around 27% and I'm at 19.9. Strangely enough, somehow, Steve, I think you and I are both 19.9 exactly. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean,
that's wild.
I got probably mine might be pushed up to 20 because like things like MMG and Pick 6 weren't in there.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the wild card teams for like the sprint
and rookies and sophomores wasn't in there either. So that would probably push us both over 20. So anyways, 20% advance rate. It was a wild ride, but here we are. And now we just got to ride with the 20% that made it. Yeah. Figure out what other sprint overlay teams made it. It's still the marathon team, as I mentioned in here. It has fluctuated since week 7 in the top 30. I believe it's at like 26, 27 now. But I still feel like we're in a 3-week sprint in the marathon. Mm-hmm. So I still feel like that marathon has a lot to root on and hoping it can still make a run here these last 3 weeks for an exciting sweat. And I'll be sweating that out. So for us, Steve, we had another great advance rate this year on Sibling Showdown. Sibling Showdown live streams. We had, I want to say, I can't do the math now. I want to say 59 total teams, but we had a 28.8% advance rate. Last year was 50, but we did much less teams. But I still think almost a 29% advance rate of our Sibling Showdown live streams have advanced to playoffs. That means 17 playoff teams together. Sprint, there's a marathon, or excuse me, there's a marathon that's cashing, there's a sprint, there's a BBM, there's a pit bull, there's a husky, there's a superflex, there's several pre-draft and a few other dog breed contests. And it's one of Steve and I's favorite movies growing up was Goonies. So this is our time. What do you think, Steve? Are you excited for 17 best ball sweats with your sister?
Yeah, no, it is exciting. Like you said, we do those drafts, and we did a lot more this year. And also we targeted different things, different styles of contests, different types of tournaments, more of the lotto type, more of the better advance rate types, etc. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully we can get a couple, one or two of those at least, if not more, into the finals and have some really fun sweats week 17 there.
Yeah, fun sweats together. And you're right. We did that one night, August 14th, where we did all the styles, and the Eliminator was the only one that didn't come to fruition. We did Eliminator, nothing good there, but sprint on to playoffs, BBM on to playoffs, marathon cashing. So that's cool. But then, different dog breeds like the Pit Bull, Husky. I know we have Poodle, different formats, Superflex, pre-draft. I know we have a rookie sophomores in there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope we have a finals sweat together. As people know, I didn't do many BBM drafts, only 24 total, and they are mostly for content, either Sibling Showdown or Friends of Best Ball. 4 of the 24 moved on. 1 was Sibling Showdown. 1 was my last personal draft on my own, and 2 Friends of Best Ball moving on. Fantasy Football Garage, the Candyman, Pat, Fantasy Dog Pound, Burrow team that snuck in, have BBM playoffs team. So of course, Friends of Best Ball had to use a friend's gift for that. Again, appreciate all the Friends of Best Ball and guests we had on this Fanspeak network this draft season. And again, as I mentioned, I can't wait to see these co-streamed drafts and how many make the finals around the industry. I think we're going to see a lot more this year, and that's super fun. Had to shout out a little office gift. Spread and Tyler, I know, and I want to get Bruni and Andrews, if any of their stream teams and what they did. But Tyler had let me know that of like the 20-ish DK Millie Makers that they would do on Tuesdays, 4 are advancing to the DK Millie Maker playoffs. Spread and Tyler, shout out them. And good luck to everybody in playoffs. Hope to meet you in a finals or 2, and had to shout out one of my other favorite shows, Seinfeld. So as far as, again, BBMD is the best way to sweat things out. We'll take a quick peek there and then kind of point out any of our favorite teams that we are sweating. So looking at my portfolio, well, I pulled up yours first, so we'll just go with that. Again, likely over 20 with all those other, or definitely over 20 with like rookie, sophomore, MMG, those kinds of contests for you. So tons of teams. When you factor in all those, you'll likely be having, not even counting your marathon teams, likely 400 teams you'll be sweating here on Underdog, right, Steve?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah. And then, obviously you had a really good advance rate in the sprint. And have you figured out you had 25 of 111 for 22.5?
They did finalize the sprint, so I got 29 through. So I got 4 more teams.
4 more teams. Okay, that's what I was just going to ask, is how many teams total? And I'll bring over Underdog and take a look at that in a minute. Some of your other highlights, little Dalmatian, Pomeranian, but no, you were really excited about, we talked about all summer, good advance rate contest. And you can see that a lot in here, while Steve has a lot of like the puppies and those kind of things. And he has a lot, we both have a lot of like the good advance rate contests, German Shepherd, Poodle, Husky, Pit Bull, those kind of Rottweiler, those kind of things. But I think what's really cool about your profile or your portfolio, Steve, is, while it's not, all of them, obviously, there you got plenty through on your higher dollar good advance rate contests. I did not make the Bulldog playoffs. I made the Bulldog finals last year, so I will not be representing the Shout family in the Bulldog finals like I made last year. Hopefully you represent the Shout family in the Bulldog finals, because you have 2 of your 4 Bulldog teams going to the playoffs. You have 1 of 3 Dalmatian. That's awesome. 1 of 4 War Room, 1 of 4 of the Rottweiler 2. And 2 of 9 of the Chow Chow, 2 of 10 of the Pit Bull, 6 of 20. That's 30% of the Husky. That's awesome. I know I like some Husky teams. Our dad has a Husky team he loves. You have 6 of 10 Husky teams that you like. So that's really exciting. 4 of 20 of the Poodle. So yeah, those like cleaner advance rates, especially the higher dollar ones, like the Dalmatian and the Chow Chow and the Pitbull and Husky. That's really exciting to get those through. Any other highlights on your portfolio before we look at teams? You also your super flex had come up in different, because you had said that was kind of a season long play with quarterbacks potentially getting injured, which they have. We just lost Daniel Jones, and we now have 44-year-old Phillip Rivers starting.
Yeah, didn't draft any of him, unfortunately.
You didn't draft any Phillip Rivers. What the hell? Yeah, you have 1 of 3 of the super flex. So any particular teams, or would you rather look at that on Underdog?
We can look at that on Underdog.
Okay, so mine is similar, 19.9%, and it's over 20% counting rookies. Sophomore was definitely over 20%, even despite I made him 80% Cam Scattaboo, and it was like 70% advancing, and now it's like, I forget, 25% advancing. But yeah, over 20% total advancing. Very excited about that. Again, I talked about the 4 BBM teams. I have 4 sprint teams. I'll have to check and see. I thought I was able to get another one through, so that I'd have to look on Underdog, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 Poodle, again, talking the good advance rate. I didn't do as well in the higher dollar this year. That was kind of a low for me, but obviously the highs for me is I did really well in Superflex. You can see 31% here, and I believe the German Shepherd was 40%. So really well in Superflex. Obviously, I still have a marathon sweat of a team in the top 30 that was first for multiple weeks and has been up there since week 7. Hope I have a marathon sweat the whole way through. Really like some of these sprint and BBM teams. But yeah, I mean, even though I didn't make as many in the higher dollar, still these good advance rate contests, moving some through like 20% of the Poodle. 1 German Shepherd struck out. Don't know what I was doing there. Actually, I do have a tip for you. Don't draft sad and angry. As most people know, my sweet dog Reagan's passed away in April, and April and May, my advance rate, not so good. So sweet Rudy has helped make me smile again, that I adopted him right before June started, and it started to get better then. But my April, May, not good at all. So maybe that's a lesson learned for people. I don't know. Me personally, drafting angry and sad, not a good look. Yeah, I think that German Shepherd was during May, and I would label different dates, and I was like, "Ooh, these April, May ones are brutal." But Pitbull just 1 of 10, but I know that's a sibling showdown. That's exciting. I got 1 of 5, a bigger board through. Yeah, but didn't get the Chow Chow, didn't get the Dalmatian. But I do have 3 of 8 Husky. I really like those. 1 of those is sibling showdown. 3 of 6 Pug. I really like those. Did not make the Bulldog. So bummed out about the higher dollar stuff, but did get some Husky teams I'm really excited about. A Pitbull sibling showdown I'm really excited about. And some other good advance rates, like the Poodle and stuff like that. But I think I'm probably most excited about some sprint teams, the marathon, and some super flex. So we can pull over. Any other thoughts on my portfolio before we pull over Underdog?
Nope.
Okay. Let me pull over Underdog. Yeah, it's just partway through. So do I go to live or result?
Yeah,
okay,
live.
So go to
not everything's updated, but yeah.
Right. I want to see my sprint situation. Because it's only like it partially paid out, partially pushed through. But you think they've totally pushed through the sprint then?
Yeah, they go contest by contest.
Okay, I got 1 more then. So let's take a look. I'm going to bring this over, and then you can bring over anything that you want to show. So let me bring over my Underdog Live tab, and I pushed through 4, and then 1 through the overlay. So 5 of 24s I'm happy with. 1 was that sibling showdown where we did all the different flagships on 8-14. Sprint doesn't matter who you're in with because it's the sprint. So Sam Darnold, Drake May, Joe Burrow. So I pushed 2 Joe Burrow teams through in the playoffs. 1 with Pat, Fancy Dogbound and BBM, and one with my brother Steve, Sibling Showdown Sprint. So I think that's fun. Obviously, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, and then these two running backs really aren't contributing. Does this go backwards? Lab McConkey, T. Higgins, Mbuka, Pittman, Mims, Pop Douglas, Tyler Lockett. I mean, had to have a Tyler Lockett team in there. Gasecki, who showed proof of life last week, Hunter Henry, Tyler Warren. I mean, I don't know that I feel I love that it's a Joe Burrow and Drake May team. The running backs outside of Bijan and is just like, you're going to need David Montgomery and or Kenneth Walker to do more than what they, you're going to need them to pop here. The receivers feel a little top heavy to me, but I mean, I still think it's viable, and we'll see what Phillip Rivers does for the Colts exposure. Oh damn, I wanted to go back and just look at my other, because I wanted to see what other sprint team made it. But speaking of like how to sweat, and we'll just kind of cover that as we're covering like teams we're excited about. Obviously, BBMDB, which we showed again, shout out to Patrick Donovan, need to drop him a tip because that is how helping the sweat immensely. But being able to check your playoff exposures, right? So I go to sprint, I go to exposures, and then because this is one of the ones that has, moved over. And so, I only have 5 teams here in the sprint, but I can see that, 60% Jonathan Taylor. Oh my God, 60% Cam Scatterbo. But, these are obviously later quarterbacks, Bryce Young, Aaron Rodgers, Darnold, but a share of each of who you really need there. So I think using the exposures tool in each type of contest style is important to see. Like 40%, 2 out of the 5 are Kittle teams. Same with Gasecki and Freiermuth, my favorite late round guys who have, had their little pops, but haven't been consistent, but hopefully they can do something in playoffs. So I think any other ways that you recommend sweating out, and then obviously finding your favorite teams. Like I knew last year that I thought that Bulldog team was really strong. So I knew, especially once it made it past week 15, I was really rooting on those players. And then of course, it goes down so much, week 15, it's really looking at BBMDB, looking at your exposures within each contest and rooting on like that. But if you have any favorite teams of mine, obviously the marathon, there's obviously certain other teams that I really, really like, but obviously week 16, there's going to be a lot less teams for everybody, no matter what your quantity. Yeah. And then week 17, we hope we push as many through the finals as possible. Last year you had 16, which was amazing. But do you have any other tips for sweating stuff out?
I do think BBMD will continue to be a good resource. I'm sure. I know they're going to have updates. But with this, like not so much the sprint, though there is an overall leaderboard, but now you can look at your pods, and I think those might end up being on BBMD as well. Okay. But you're going to be able to look at your pods. So, whether it's people or just as these games go on, because these games are not all on Sunday, obviously. So this Thursday, Bucks and Falcons, right? It's going to be particularly in like the smaller pods of whether it's even like a BBM of 13 or 5 or 6 or whatever it is. You'll see like who had exposure to that game, and keep in mind, like if somebody got 5 points, like that's easily beatable. But right, so it's that kind of thing to get a idea and handle of looking at these pods, looking at in terms of sprint and marathon, like the overall leaderboards. But so I think that is one of the best ways. But in general, like you said, looking at your ownership in these tournaments to get a feel of like, okay, I have 30 of my teams have this guy or this team. I'm really stacked up on, the Chargers. I'm really stacked up on the Patriots. Then, that game obviously is going to matter a lot more to you.
Right. No, I think that's key. And then obviously for, no matter what your situation, week 16 and 17, it'll be a lot less, and you'll know exactly what you are truly, truly, truly rooting on. Going back to things I'm most sweating, obviously, is this marathon team, which is, now in, I believe like 28th place or something along those lines, but still sweating it out. Still think it has a chance here. Obviously, don't have Braylon Allen, Cam Scatterbo, and Taj Brooks hasn't done anything, but I'm hoping JT Christian McCaffrey can still make a run. I know JT looks more stacked up against him, but just put the ball in his belly with old man Phillip Rivers. And then Rashad White, he had actually better yards per carry last week. But yeah, it's Dak, Herbert, Rodgers. It's still JT, CMC, and Rashad White in the running back position. Receiver, I'm nervous. We'll talk about in injury stuff. Like I hope Odunze can come back this week, next week at the latest. I hope Metcalf's fine from his stomach, issues from last week. And I hope George Pickens gets his head out of his ass from, being a powder last week. And I hope T. Higgins can get out of concussion protocol ASAP. I love my receivers. They were kind of, as you can see, a balanced distribution of points, Pickens being the highest, but Pickens, Higgins, Metcalf, Diggs, Rome, Keenan. And then, of course, Jake Ferguson, Gesicki showed life, and Freiermuth has shown life. So still hope I can make a run there. So marathon, sprint, I'm really excited about those. And then some of our team, Steve, I'll just quickly show. There's a sibling showdown, Husky. Is this Husky 1 or 2? Let me see. Yeah, the Husky 1. Dak, May, Rodgers. Now, running backs, it's a handcuffed Tampa room, but I think we'll get into the matchups in a minute. Montgomery, Mason, Rashad Smith, who's not really doing anything, but Lamb, Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Jameson Williams, Pearsall, Pop Douglas, Pat Bryant. That's very strong. Colson Lovin, Jake Ferguson, Pat Freiermuth. Just feel like, the running backs are not, super, super strong, but I feel like they're strong enough that if everywhere else, that this, especially in a cleaner advanced rate Husky, what do you think about this team? Because I really like this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta love the quarterbacks. Prescott and May have just been so good this year, and even Rodgers and this team have scored a little bit more. Like an interesting thing, I know you highlighted this past week, Rodgers outscored Dak by like half a point or 1 point or whatever it was.
Right.
The first time you counted for your marathon team, you Dak in that. But the difference of May to Herbert, May's been really good this year, but Herbert has clearly hit those weeks that Dak has not, where Rodgers has counted a lot more in this tournament.
That's very interesting. So yeah, I need a combo of the Bucks room, Monty, Mason, to do their thing, because receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks feel really strong. That's our sibling showdown Husky. I really like this Husky of mine as well. May, Goff, Rodgers, and then a Lions handcuff. So the Lions room, Gibbs, Monty, JT, and Hampton back. Really love that. Chris Rodriguez, who is kind of like the guy, and then Jameson, Jamo, Metcalf, Diggs, Pittman. And then it's a little, top heavy Dubs, who did plenty this season, 85 points this season, Hopkins, Coker. But Coker could pop, late in the playoffs here. Ferguson, Henry, Jonnu. So I like this team a lot as well.
Do you want to go back? Go down. Go down. Go back. Back to drafts. Go back to drafts.
Okay. Yes.
Go down.
Go ahead. Yes.
Go down. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
What do you want me to see?
Keep going. I want you to see the actual teams. Keep going.
I did.
There.
I'm at the bottom.
No, click on NFL season week 15. Click on that. Click on.
Where are you seeing NFL season week 15?
Keep going down. Right there.
Wait.
2025 season week 15. Go up to.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
Oh,
now you can look at the actual pods for these teams.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, but I didn't think everything had been moved over yet.
Everything hasn't. That's why you only have 11 so far.
Huh? What?
It shows 11 drafts under season week 15. But the Husky has moved over. So I'm saying you can actually look at the pods for those. So
I see. Okay. So not everything is fully moved over. It will be by tonight, but the ones that are moved over, this is a Husky too, like that Husky one.
Yeah, that's where you find them.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm saying some of them are here, some of them haven't. So
but I'm saying we could look at the actual pods for that Husky sibling showdown. That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay. Now I'm with you. Okay. Sibling showdown. Let's check out the pod. Do we know anybody? Peter Overzet is in here. What is the advance rate in this? 2 of 8. So let's see if we know anybody else. 2 of 8, 1 of 6, 1 of 17. So we know Peter Overzet. Short King Summer is not Davis, but Short King Summer. So, Pete, we loved having you on Jeopardy, Best Ball Jeopardy this season. It was amazing. Love your content. Hopefully, it's you and us moving on in this 2 of, and gotta love the 2 of 8 in the quarterfinals too. 2 of 8, 1 of 6, and top prize $50K. So, Peter Overzet, may you and may M. Schaup and Peter Overzet move on in this pod. Let me check out my other pod that I really like. Do I know anybody here? Gretch. And I'm your Huckleberry. Oh my goodness. So this one's loaded here. I love this team, but I'm going up against I'm your Huckleberry and Gretch. So yeah, that's some wild stuff. Don't know any of the other names. May 2 of us move on. That's awesome. Let me go down and see what else has been placed of teams that I know I like. Okay, Pitbull. Pitbull is a sibling showdown. I like it. Do we know any of these people? We do not. I believe it's a 1 of 6, 1 of 5 to a 156 final. So I hope we take down this pot of 6, Steve. Our team is Dak, JJ McCarthy, but Sam Darnold, JT, Swift, another room where we handcuffed. You're seeing a theme here. Handcuffed the Bears room. We've talked about this in other like look-ins on checking it out. We have both Swift and Monangai with JT. Scattaboo, our sweet, my sweet prince, our sweet chaperone, Rashad White, Rashad Smith, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison. Any status on him?
I think he's listed. I don't think he practiced today.
Okay. Yeah. So that's not this. The receivers aren't great outside of, Lamb, we hope comes back. Harrison, don't know. Hunter out. Addison has JJ McCarthy, Kupp, Thielen, Keenan Allen. So we're going to need like Lamb, Keenan Allen, and Thielen to come back from the dead here. And maybe Addison gets lucky. But look at this, George Kittle, Jake Ferguson. So that's fun. Let me see any of these other ones that have moved on already. Thank you for showing me. Only 11 of mine have been placed. So then I'll see if there's any others going through here. Pug, we have, these are sibling showdowns. So sibling showdown, don't recognize anybody in the pod. Dak, May, Rogers, Jacobs, Hampton, Pollard, who will be low owned, Scattaboo, Dowdle, Lamb, Jameson, Williams, Cortland Sutton, Jacoby Myers, Dubs, Thielen, Alec Pierce, Roman Wilson, Jake Ferguson, Hunter Henry. Steve, I like that team. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see Rico's status, Lamb status this week, but yeah.
And then I think there's the other Pug. Was it this Pug already? Yeah, that was the one we looked at. Sorry, it was the other Pug one that I think I like that team a lot too. Yeah, one's a sibling showdown. May, Caleb Williams, Matthew Stafford, Christian McCaffrey, Travion Henderson, Tony Pollard, Tootin. You didn't draft much Tootin, but Tootin Hill, Drake London. He's probably out. Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Pickens, Darnell Mooney, Roman Wilson, Tutu, Jake Ferguson, Gesicki, Mason Taylor. I don't feel as good about that team. I think the Poodle that advanced was a sibling showdown as well. Let me check that. It does have 4. Yeah, 4. Yeah, that's right. I had 20% of my Poodles and one was a sibling showdown. So let's check that out. I recognize Dom. I recognize that name. Don't recognize anybody else. Hertz, Herbert, Rogers, Gibbs, Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, Rashad White, Rashad Smith, JCM. So that's one that doesn't feel as good now. Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, Pittman, Trey Harris, Rashid Shaheed, Jalen Noel, Goddard, and then Ertz is gone. So don't know if I feel amazing about that. I'm trying to be quick in knowing that ones I looked at. So yeah, I love those Huskies, like the Pitbull, like the Pugs. And we'll have to see what else, because again, we're only partway through the transfer. Let me scroll through here, Steve. I don't know as far as other sibling showdowns. And again, the higher dollar ones I pushed through were the Husky and Pitbull and Pug. I really like one other thing I want to show, obviously marathon, some of those ones we just mentioned. And the other one I wanted to show was some of my super flex. Let me go back to that.
Those have not been pushed through yet.
Okay, they're not pushed through yet. Okay, so puppy super flex. Let's check out our sibling showdown ones. I'm advancing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The top one's kind of weird. because I like handcuffed rooms like Penix, Cousins, Wilson, Dart, Flacco. So I'm really down to Cousins and Dart. So I don't feel as good. But look at this: Gibbs, McCaffrey, JT, and then I had Scatterbo. I mean,
technically you have Cousins.
Yeah. So if Cousins and Dart somehow go ham, the running back room is just goated. Is just amazing. Metcalf, Sutton, Pearsall, Cup, Trey Harris. So it's a little top heavy there, but you only need to start 2. And tight ends are kind of but let me see if this was one that I liked, but the sibling showdown. Oh, Allen, May, Goff, Cousins, Mariota, Chase Brown, Chuba, who's kind of getting worked in more, David Montgomery, of course, Scatterbo, Rashad White, Taj, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Josh Downs, and Buka. There's enough there. Kincaid, Henry, Fryermuth. I like that. Let's check out our sibling showdowns, and then I'll move on. Baker, Herbert, Stafford, and then we lost Daniel Jones, but he was a big chaperone. Yeah. McCaffrey, Bucky, Harvey, David Montgomery, Mason, Rashad White. So another handcuff room of the Bucs. I like this so far. Metcalf, Pearsall, Pittman. It gets a little thin, but you only need 2. Henry,
Beth and Pat Bryant are playing a lot more. So
yeah, that's a sibling showdown. This is sibling showdown. Who Ames is in our pod. Fantasy Dog, Legion. Holy! Oh, this hasn't been.
This is what we drafted with.
Oh my God, I have problems.
Yeah, you need to check.
Oh my God, we were good. Anyways, Baker, Trevor Lawrence, Rodgers, Mariota. We made a big stand on Mariota. We said Jaden's a little fragile. He's contributed 110 points to this team. Gibbs, Jacob, Pollard. What's that?
They already announced he's playing this week.
Is he? Okay, well, that's smart. Harrison, Metcalf, Olave, Trey Harris, Jaden Higgins, Kyle Williams, MVS could be playing for the Steelers. There's life. Fryermuth, Otten, Juwan Johnson. I think that team's pretty fun. We'll look at one more. That was hysterical that I didn't realize it got moved over. Josh Allen, Drake May, Josh Allen Jr., and then we handcuffed the Jets room.
Neither one might play this week.
I know. But and then wildly, Josh Allen, Drake May play each other. So that's kind of fun. Jacobs, Cook, Kamara, Pollard, Rashad White, J-Mo, Godwin, Diggs, Golden, Slayton, MVS, Hunter Henry, Otten, Juwan Johnson. So there's some fun in here. The last thing I'll point out is rookie sophomores. I made a massive stand on Travis Hunter and Scatterbo. That did not work out. I was literally advancing like 70%. Has this already been? Yeah. This has already gone over. Okay. So I don't know which ones I like the most. Let me take a quick check if I know any of these names. No. This might be one of my favorites. May, Caleb, Dart. So that's 3 options to hit the nuts at the quarterback, right? Because there's a lot of quarterbacks that failed or aren't playing. So you kind of have the 3 big ones that could go off. Obviously, Scatterbo was the main benefactor of this team, but you do have Genty. Maybe Brashad Smith does something, but you got Tet, Pearsall, Tyler Warren, Pat Bryant, Trey Harris. I like this team. I like the 3. Let me see. Let me just look at the sibling showdown one. Pepper Tony's in this one. Yeah. Pepper Tony is in. And what's the advance rate here? I believe it's only 1 of 8.
Yeah.
1 of 8, 1 of 7 to the finals. Here was this the other one? Well, Shuck's playing. So this one, Scatterbo. Yeah. It unfortunately it's like Scatterbo. I'm just relying mostly. I do have one with Genty, with Scatterbo, Genty, and Harvey, and that will be helpful. Is it this one? No, it just has Harvey outside of Scatterbo. So yeah, I'll have to go through. I won't waste people's.
We have a sibling showdown you could look at.
Yeah. I just wanted to find. This is it. Genty, Harvey. So May, Caleb, Cam Ward. Genty, Harvey, Scatterbo was a big reason I got here. Pearsall, Burden, Pat Bryant, Trey Harris, Mason Taylor. Don't feel as good about the receivers, but we'll see. Let's check out our sibling showdown. Don't recognize Patrick Barnes. YouTube's a big name. Nix, Caleb, Shuck. So all available, which is big because obviously, there's some that aren't, with obviously JD being the biggest one. Genty, Harvey. Okay, so Genty, Harvey, Scatterbo on this team. And then Worthy, Pearsall, Trey Harris, Colston Loveland, Keon Coleman. So those are kind of going through the teams that I am most excited about. Did you want to pull over and see? Yeah. I'll catch up with chat. You can pull over.
Catch up with chat. There's some bangers there.
What's that?
I said catch up with chat. There's some bangers there.
Yes. But basically, I'm excited about my BBMs, of course. I'm excited about my sprint. I'm very excited about still rooting on my marathon. I'm excited about all my sibling showdown teams with Steve. I'm really excited about those Husky teams. So hopefully there will be some fun sweats. Steve will pull over some of his fun stuff that he's really excited about. Kick says, this was my first year playing on Underdog. I only did 58 teams and have a 29% advance rate. That's very good. Of course, the more teams when Steve has like 1,600, it's going to be harder to get higher advance rates. But anytime you're, 18% or over, average is 16.7, right, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
So that's average across the board, no matter if you do a lot or a little. Anytime you're over 16.7, that's great. To my mind, I want to be over 20%. And basically, again, when you factor in rookies, sophomores, and some of those other ones, Steve and I both are over 20%. But no matter how many you do, 29% advance rate is excellent. So congrats on that, and good luck in playoffs kicks. Steve, we got King Schuster in here. Good to see you, King Schuster. If you're still in here, I know that comment was a while ago. Steve only sweats week 17 like a boss. So hopefully you have plenty of week 17 sweats like you did last year, Steve. And hopefully we have some together too. We got Steven WC in here. Always good to see you, GM everyone. Mike Robb, I guess, appreciates that I'm guessing he appreciates that I could not find where the playoff pods was. I'm such a boomer.
Yeah.
That is, of course. We got Gamblestein in here. Great to see you, Gamblestein. Is in the Discord with us. Great to see you there. Of course, Steve, Mike Robb says, of course, Steve, the Husky Hammer is doing good in that draft. Absolutely hysterical. We got zero in here. Great to see you. That is absolutely the most fun time of the year. We got our guy, Eddie. What is Meg and Steve? What is going on? He says, I did awful in the sprint, only drafted 4, and they are all in last. Oh, no. Well, that's okay. We'll go back to the well next year, Eddie, but, root on what did make it through. And Mike says, did either of you get any of the single entry tournaments through? That's a good question. Yeah. Which were the single entries, Steve? Remind me.
Well,
Greyhound, I did not.
Greyhound Golden, the mini Golden, I actually got that through, but that's the one you have to literally finish first to get any money. So we'll see. We are riding this $2 thing.
Yeah, I didn't on the Greyhound, I didn't on the Golden. So yeah, single entry. German Shepherd was not single entry, right?
No.
Okay, then no, I did not. Then Steve did got the Golden through.
Mini Golden. That's all I got.
Oh, gotcha. Best Ball Q. Good to see you. Didn't get as high advance rate as I'd like this year. I wonder how Jonathan Taylor is affected by Phillip Rivers. I hopefully good, because he's on a lot of teams I like. So I hope old man Phillip Rivers. I'm excited to see it. I'd always love Phillip Rivers. Love his trash talking, and I love that he's out there at 44 as a grandfather. Mike in Discord joked with me. He knows I love the old quarterbacks, and he is right. I mean, listen, that just shows the state of the union for quarterbacks, right? Is the Colts are bringing in a 44-year-old that hasn't played in 5 years because the young quarterbacks have not stepped up enough during, since COVID. So during all this staying in college for like 7 years type stuff, like it's just, we're not getting enough of the GOATs. And so I appreciate the olds that have given us so much good stuff. And I hope Phillip Rivers, while I doubt it's going to be great, I hope it's enough to keep Jonathan Taylor viable. Yeah. Eddie says he was at 40% advance rates. Injuries were brutal this year for sure. Hopefully we can all, have a good run good here and have a fun playoff sweat for what we do push through. I want to go back to BBMDB after you show some of your favorite teams. We'll look at, some of our exposures that are really high on art, then that's another way to sweat it through BBMDB, or obviously going through tournament by tournament on Underdog to see your teams that advance, how much exposure you have to each. And those are the players you're rooting for. Sean Mitchell says 42% JT on my advanced team. So please, Phillip Rivers. That's how I feel. Very high on JT and my advanced teams and my marathon. So please, Phillip Rivers, you can do it, my friend. Okay. Caught up with chat. Steve, show some of your favorites. And then we'll use BBMDB to show some of those other things too, of who, a lot of high exposure to, but also some low owned guys that may be key skeleton keys. So go ahead and show some of your favorites.
So I wanted to bring up the pick six, different style of tournament. Obviously I got 7, I think I did 30 teams. I got 7 through, and just wanted to show how fun these can be. I actually got a Burrow team through, because you could only draft 2 quarterbacks. And so this was a Hurts Burrow team. Bijan, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, R.J. Harvey, Puka, Drake London, won't have him this week, George Pickens, Ricky Pearsall. So I'll be interested to see this, kind of first time they've done this kind of format. But I just wanted to highlight that since, it hasn't gotten a lot of talk throughout the year. Got some fun teams through. There was definitely, some strategy to go with it, how that tournament went down. But in terms of like some of my favorite teams, I do a 29 sprint teams. I'm trying to find, I think it's this one that I really like. Nope, that is not it. Not the Michael Penix, Justin Fields one. It's tough with, but it was right around here.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. So yeah, you had 25, and now you have 29 teams.
Yeah, so this one, Rico might be out this week, but quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Goff, Lamar Jackson. So, this is one of those things, as we saw last week, Lamar got 22 points. I don't think he's at a healthy point where he's going to do what he did last year and get like 25-point games every week. But if he gets one spike week and those other two do enough, JT, Gibbs, my big running backs with Dowdle, depending on how he is. Receivers are a little thin, though I did get Reed back. And Mims, Kyle Williams, we'll see how they do. So I'm worried a little bit if Dowdle can't go this week. But Olave, Devonta Smith, George Pickens, and having Jaden Reed back, and then getting Brenton Strange, Mark Andrews. So feel pretty good about this team. There's another sprint, but it's so hard to find in this. Let me see. I knew it was before. The Hartman one. Rodgers, Drake May, Lamar Jackson, Blake Corum. Didn't draft him a ton this year, but he's actually had some usable weeks. My running back room is anchored by our room, I should say, with Hartman, Jacob, and Gibbs. Have Algier and Corum and Tank Bigsby, or either Philly back now. And receiver wise, I definitely need this again.
Come on, Phil.
Philip Rivers with Pierce and Michael Pittman. But Diggs, Bateman, Ricky Pearsall, Zay Flowers, so doubled, Lamar pass catchers, DK Metcalf. The unfortunate thing is it's just Andrews down the stretch.
Yeah.
Like I would feel so much better about this team. I'm sure Hartman would agree if Ertz was there with them. Because Andrews looks like good for spike weeks, but not necessarily consistency. But that is the thing with sprint. I mean, the winner of the sprint last year, I know, is a different format. Not as many people only got like 16 total points from their tight end.
Yeah.
So it can be a little different. Like one big week could be enough. If Andrews goes out there and catches 2 touchdowns, it could be enough to carry you.
Yeah.
So as for some other teams, I didn't get any of my bigger boards through, but I got 59 total pre-draft. Got a lot of like little board 2 overlay teams. Even got 2 big board team overlay teams because my BNB only showed 25. I ended up with 27. So that's good. And so let's see. Here's the still haven't done Superflex. So here's the regular season. It's my Bulldog 2. This is definitely my favorite team. Yeah, this is a team. I was on Hartman's stream. He did a draft and with him, and this team to me just kind of cooked. Josh Allen, Drake May, Dak Prescott, running back Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker. Fortunately, Scatavoo, but he'll get there. But if Walker could give us a week or two, I know that's been a frustrating situation with Pickens, Diggs, Jacoby Myers, Michael Pittman. Come on, Philip Rivers, Kyle Williams, Romeo Doubs, Tutu Atwell. So it's gotten thinner with how low Doubs has been used of late, but you never know. And then Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. And I know Kate Otten's probably out this week, but Henry and Gesicki can hopefully cover that.
Oh, that's the Bulldog that I kept talking about all year, right? Yeah, I love that team. You did that on the Hartman stream?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was not on with him, but he did a stream and I jumped in the draft.
Yeah, no, I like that team. That's awesome. Yeah.
As for the Huskies, one of these, unfortunately, no more Daniel Jones, but May, Lawrence, McCaffrey, JT, Rashard White. I mean, his team lost. I mean, Caleb Johnson, the Steelers refused to play him. and Austin Eckler. But the receivers, Devontae Adams, Tet, who's really come on. Unfortunately, lost Hunter. Higgins has been playing more downs. Again, we need Philip Rivers. So it's a little thin at receiver. But tight ends are fairly strong with Henry, Gesicki, Freiermuth.
Yeah.
I think it's this one. Allen, Nix, Darnold. So 3 healthy quarterbacks. That always feels good. McCaffrey, Genty, Pollard. Kind of the only running backs. I don't think Jarquez Hunter is going to make a late run. But this one has JSN. Didn't have a ton of JSN throughout. This was one of the teams. Fortunately, Hunter as well. But Debo, Higgins, Coleman, Mims. So I need to kind of cobble together the rest of my receivers.
Is that percent drafted what you drafted them in?
No. That's in this pod.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. I was confused.
I don't know why once. It's definitely not what I drafted.
It would be a lot higher.
Yeah. I thought that was only. Maybe that's in the entire tournament. What's left in the Husky. Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That there'd be both a 8.01 and 6.48.
Right.
I'm assuming that'd be one of each. So yeah. So it must be what's left in the entire tournament.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So that's my guess. So again, need to cobble together the receivers, but we will try. This one's a little thinner with Jaden Daniels, but Dak and Darnold, Gibbs, JT, Hampton. So running backs are stronger here with Hampton back. Dylan Sampson. But receivers are a little thinner with Calvin Ridley, and then a lot of number 2s right now. Even Ricky Pearsall's being kind of a number 2. So not as great, but good tight ends. So we'll see. Those are those 3. Now I'll bring up the Sean Mitchell team as well. That was Husky 2, I believe. Yeah. So this one, don't recognize anyone in this.
Yeah, it'll be fun to go through all the pods once they're fully done to see, like that one we have with Overzet and one we have with, that's funny. Yeah.
So this one, Baker Dak. This was a late running back. Chuba, Caleb Johnson, Rashard White, Trey Benson, Jalen Wright, Miles Sanders, Kamadan guys. So really, it's kind of down to Hubbard, White, and Kamadan guy. I don't think Achane is seriously injured. So, but the receivers are just incredible. Chase, Higgins, Pickens, Mbuka, Keon Coleman, Dante Thornton, and Donnie Mitchell, and then tight ends are pretty elite as well with McBride and Warren. So I don't know if there's enough running back firepower there. But this can be the pod luck. We'll have to see, okay, that team is definitely cooking us at running back. But we got them at receiver. So it'll just come down to it, how it goes. So those are definitely the teams I wanted to highlight right now. There's plenty of others that I like in these various tournaments.
Did you already go over that one sprint team? I was trying to do stuff on the back end, like the one that was the highest scoring sprint team. I love that one.
I don't think I went over that one. So this was my pointer? Hurts, Herbert left, Barkley, JT, but Algier, Chris Rodriguez.
That's a strong running back room.
It's a healthy running back room.
Yeah.
And then JSN again didn't have a ton of them throughout. Receivers a little thin. Judy's actually been playing better with Shador. Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman.
You're done though.
No tight end points. So yeah, the Ertz injury, that was a body blow. So maybe I could, this is one where I don't think I can survive 3 weeks without tight end. Maybe this week, maybe 1 week you can survive without tight end, especially in a smaller pod. But it's not going to do much damage. So yeah, still not over the Ertz injury because I knew that.
Yeah, I know that was really tough. I think it hurt me some, but I know it really hurts you and Andrew and, some, so.
Yeah.
No, go to the sprint. I absolutely love the some of your top sprint teams, and I'm so happy you got 4 more through with the overlay. That's awesome. Oh, well, we won't know which one is which.
Yeah, I don't know if this was it or not.
Oh, I can pull it up on BBMDB.
Yeah, this wasn't it.
Yeah, I was eyeing it up. Just the top one on BBMD would show your top score, and your top sprint score was awesome. Let me go to Steve Speak. Yeah, it was 174 total in the sprint, 1,850 points. Dak May, Jones is gone, but he gave you something. CMC JT Mason, Sampson, who still is contributing, Taj Brooks, obviously, but I'll just do the guys that are contributing. It's a lot of the same guys in my marathon, so that's why I think this is so fun too. T. Higgins, George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Steph Diggs, Josh Downs, Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Strange Henry, Ertz, but I mean, Strange and Henry are still very viable in the sprint format, so I like that team a lot. But yeah, this was fun going over some of our favorites. Any other favorites before we get to some of our other segments, Steve, that you want to show?
No, that's good.
All right. I will let's see. Bring over nothing really crazy on injury front. For me, I'm personally watching Roma Dunze, CD Lamb. Hopefully DK Metcalf sounds like he's going to be fine, but I hope it doesn't limit him. It might limit him in practice. So hopefully it doesn't limit him as far as his game performance, because I still need him. And then there was one other one, Higgins. Has there been an update on Higgins? I'm scrolling through.
I think he was limited, still in concussion protocol.
Okay.
It was essentially the same that CD Lamb had.
Okay. Okay, so that's hopeful. Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan officially activated. Both are questionable for Thursday. I think that's very interesting. Mike Evans will be very low owned. We'll get to that in a minute. Tyron Tracy, don't care about you. Chris Rodriguez doesn't practice today. We'll see about that. You said it's already been announced Mariota's starting. Kamara does not practice today. Let's see. There was another one. Eagles removed the positivity rabbit from the locker room. That's big. Yeah, both Jets quarterbacks don't practice. Mason Taylor doesn't practice. Lamb limited. Harrison doesn't practice. Romaduzze limited in practice. So I hope that's hopeful for him. Njoku, Sampson, Tillman don't practice. So Hawkinson doesn't practice. So it's Wednesday. It will really have to pay close attention to Thursday, Friday practice reports. But those are the guys I'm specifically watching. Hopefully DK Metcalf is totally good to go after that stomach thing. Hopefully Higgins and Lamb are good to go after the concussions. And of course, Romadunze. Who are you really else keeping an eye on, Steve?
Yeah. Well, just out of intrigue, the Colts quarterback situation, because for JT, for Warren, for Pittman Downs, all these guys, Pierce, it's big. And sadly, I think Philip Rivers would be a good thing. The Jets are really banged up. Mason Taylor's not practicing, neither the quarterback. So I don't have much Breece Hall, but I'm not going to feel great about the offense moving, even though he's like the only guy left standing on the entire offense. We already, like you said, we saw the Drake London stuff. That's unfortunately a big one. I think you mainly hit on like the key ones. A lot of those receivers who appear to be questionable, like Lamb and Higgins and DK and Odunze, namely.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So those are injuries to keep an eye on. We'll have to really keep an eye on Thursday and Friday practice report. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow on Degen Power Hour at 5 p.m. Let's talk low and playoff players that could, maybe be a skeleton to key, maybe pop. Before we do that, I'll catch up with chat. I also want to mention, Steve, I have breaking news from Underdog NFL. Not great for us. So Steve and I are visiting extended family Friday and Saturday of week 17. nobody should be with me on Sunday and Monday of week 17. Steve was with me we always watch week 17 together, and it is not a good look, no matter, what I'm sweating. So Steve handles it much cooler and calmer than I do, I'd say, but still very stressful. So yeah, I don't think we should be around public or family or friends or anything during week 17. So Sunday and Monday, definitely, don't want to be around anybody that I did. So just need to, low key. Saturday is just announced. Saturday, the NFL Finals is scheduled for Saturday, week 17. Texans Chargers is 4:30 p.m. I've already accepted that my Chargers exposure is going to have a rough go of it. Hampton, I'm going to have some Hampton. I have plenty of Herbert, Keenan Allen, some Ladd. Already accepted that's going to be tough. But Ravens Packers 8 p.m. Saturday, week 17. What's your reaction to that, Steve? Because I don't know, you're going to have to help me with that one.
Yeah. That's going to be fun to watch with family. But no, those games actually, they're two big, games in terms of like playoff potential. The Ravens fighting for the division, and of course the Packers, where they're going to be in their division, and Texans and Chargers both very much with seeding and everything. So a lot of interest there. But it could be two big defensive battles. Packers defense has been a lot better. Ravens defense up and down. But it could end up being more defensive battle. So maybe not a lot of big best ball performances, leading into the big Sunday. Yeah.
And then we'll have a ton to sweat. Hopefully we'll have a ton to sweat that Sunday and Monday. We're going to look at, like what Sean said here, 42% JT on his advanced team. So please, Phillip Rivers, we're going to look at that kind of stuff and low owned guys in a minute. Catching up, Zero is in first. So he said earlier that I've been battling Steve on drafters all year in the mini 2. And Eddie asked where he is in first. And he says you're top 10. Are you?
I wish I was. I appreciate Zero for saying that, but no, Zero is still in first, but my team has just collapsed the last 3 weeks. I think I'm 40th.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. What's your highest drafters team, Steve?
Like in terms of number, I think it's that one.
Okay.
But in terms of like what I'm making, I think there was a pre-draft one that I'm in 45th and is making a little bit more because it was a bit more expensive. So
okay. Gotcha. What about in the main?
In the main, my highest team is 400th.
Okay. I saw, I forget the handle now. But yeah, some people posting drafter sweats too. So yeah, injuries suck. I had a big bag of neighbors too, and they do. Sean says Dowdle, one of the toughest players in the NFL, so expect him to be a go vet rest day. Yeah, absolutely. And Wednesday you have to take it with a grain of salt and not put too much into the injury reports. Really pay attention Thursday, Friday injury reports. But yeah, no. Hey, you never know, Steve. 3 weeks sweat here. Maybe those teams in the 40s can rise up a bit. Mike says seems like it was plus EV to do drafts with streamers. Everyone's gonna have a stream next year, and there were a lot of co-streams too. I know somebody posted, I believe Omega King posted all his teams that were in streams. We were tagged in one or two of those, so that's funny. That's Best Ball on Call says make sure to hit that like. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Best Ball Call. And yes, indeed, please hit that like for sure. So he says you won't be streaming while I emotionally break down and chat about the Ravens Fanspeak team bets against every week. Yes, Steve always hits Mike in the heart when he talks about the Ravens defense. So we apologize for that, Mike. We got Al Boogie in here. Hope everyone advanced 100%. And he says you can finish second behind me and BBM. So Al Boogie, I rooting for you. Hope to see you in the finals. All my favorite best ball people, all the people here in chat, hopefully we can run good these next 3 weeks and all meet in finals and sweat it out here. Let's talk leaderboards, Steve. Again, we talked advanced rate. We talked some teams we're excited about. We talked the best way to sweat out week 15 because week 16 and 17 will be much less teams, unfortunately, to sweat. So we really got to enjoy the week 15 sweat using BBMDB. using your exposures, kind of eyeing favorite teams like we just did, talked about injuries. Now let's talk about low-owned players. Oh, I was pulling up your sprint team earlier, but let's just go back to the leaderboard, and let me just refresh this. I believe just if you were just doing BBM, you could just type in a player like Joe Burrow and see how much he advanced on BBM. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could do that on any tournament.
What's that?
You can do that on any tournament.
Okay. So you go to, okay. So yeah, I was just going to do BBMD, Best Ball Mania, just because it's like the lotto big one. But obviously you can look at it for tournaments that you're in and then see the ownership and then see it then what you had. So like, for instance, Joe Burrow, a low owned player, 16% is average. So is advancing 8% of the time. Let's check Terry McLaurin. I thought that would be an interesting one. Have to imagine that is very low as well. Yeah. 8. Am I doing something wrong? Or is it that just happened to be, they're both 8%. What's Mike Evans? Here, am I doing this right, Steve? Never know with me. Yeah, Mike Evans, 6.2%. I think Pollard, you talked about Pollard, because of last week, he's much higher. He is 14%. Sweets Cam Scattaboo, who we had through week 8 or 9, still, because he was such an amazing pick that we were on, he still is advancing 18% here in BBM. He's still advancing a lot. And then it's fun to then look, at your portfolio and who could be some other low owned pieces. Steve, let's check Adam Thielen for fun. What if he pops off with that with Rodgers one week?
Good, but he actually has a quarterback who can throw the ball.
How is he 13% advancing? That's crazy.
I mean, he's a late round pick Stone Zero, and that's the reason
Bucky,
why it's so important.
Low. Bucky's another one. Okay, 9%. Yeah.
So
Bucky Evans.
Because the thing to keep in mind, like you say, Bucky is 9 or Pollard's gone up a little bit, but compared to like the guys who actually are like CMC, Jonathan Taylor, like those guys.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, McCaffrey is 32, almost 33%. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor is 48%. So yeah, those were, the absolute hammers. And, I disagree with like the market when it's just like, oh, but you have a common guy. Who cares? You know what I mean? I had in my Bulldog, and again, for different concepts, but I had it's cool if you push in like an Evans or a Bucky or a Burrow or a Terry or something like that. But like, it's not like I still am rooting on my CMC, JT teams across all formats. Just need some of those other low-owned guys to go off. It's just like when you play a chalkier guy in DFS, and that doesn't mean that can't work. I think sometimes people will go overboard with that, or there's some content around the industry that goes overboard with like, it has to be either low advance rate but super unique in the playoffs. Or, Steve had 27% advance rate on Underdog, or close to 30% advance rate last year, and had 13 finals teams. You had like an average of, close to 30% advance rate last year and had 16 total finals teams. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. I'm definitely a disagreement. And it's not like, oh, we had 16 finals teams, but they were all like min cashes. He finished 4th in the freaking big board. So like, it's some of that galaxy brain stuff, do however you takes to cope. I certainly am, when I call Scattaboo my sweet chaperone, I do my own things to cope, do whatever to cope. But as things are talked about in the best ball space, this playoff preview is important. It's not one or the other to me. It's not like, oh, bummer, I have JT on this team. I want JT and CMC to do well. I just need some of the other lower owned guys to do stuff too. And it's not like, oh, I wanted my advance rate to be higher, but I'm still happy. I wanted my advance rate to be as high as possible. So I'm happy it's essentially over 20% with all those other things factored in. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Bad advance rate, good playoffs, or good advance rate, bad playoffs. You can have a great advance rate, great playoffs, and a great finals finish. Steve was a perfect example of that last year. There are a couple other names, but go ahead. Your response to that, Steve.
What it boils down to, it becomes on what you have. Like if you are high on JT, then you want JT to keep doing well. Sure, you might get into a pod let's say Puppy, because they're 10-person pods,
Yeah.
and JT's a 50% guy. So you're one of 5 guys who likely have him. Maybe you're lucky and there's only 3 JT teams, or maybe you're unlucky and there's 7 JT teams. It's going to vary, of course, pod to pod. And that's where pod luck can come into favor. But if JT has a big game, even a good game, not even RB1 on the week, but he has a 25-point game, then you're competing against those other JT teams. Same with any high-owned player like a CMC or Jahmyr Gibbs or guys like that. So,
and that's a great point. Like JT's advance rate's near 50. You could be in a pod where you're lucky and you're only like one of 3, or you could be in one with one of 7. Doesn't matter. You still want JT to smash, and then you just need your other guys to still smash.
Yeah, he's your guy. You still want that. Now, exactly. As we get into week 16 and as we get into week 17, then you can really start to isolate like your key guys, like who they are, and then maybe the leverage is the key.
And then what your leverage could be too. Yeah, absolutely. Let's pull up some of these other ones mentioned. I wanted to look at Gesicki since he popped off last week. I just wanted to see what he is. Yeah, he was a late round guy, 12%. Watson was a great one. I mean, never thought of drafting Watson. Didn't think he'd be ready.
Just 2,000, a little over 2,000 times.
But so he's advancing 22%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. And then he said Michael Wilson.
That was actually a good one,
because real late pop. 23%. What would be like outside of Burrow, a lower owned quarterback that could have a good playoff run out? I'm trying to think of like a quarterback. Well, Aaron Rodgers.
Brock Purdy.
Purdy would be one. Aaron Rodgers was late, so 18%. Purdy, let's see, 11%. Yeah. And again, go into the specific contest and then look at. But then it's fun to look at your portfolio, right? Okay, so I'm going to go. Go to my name and then my portfolio, and then go to roster players. Like I said, I only have 2 Joe Burrow teams. But then I can figure out of the low end guys, do I have any Terry? I know I was sweating some Terry. Did any get through? Oh yeah, 4 did. So, and then you can see which ones. I got a hound dog, 2 poodles, and a puppy super flex through with Terry. Let me see. Evans, I know I advanced. I think it was sprint too. And so it's just curious, like, what are these lone guys? I got 5 Evans through in the big boards. Yeah, I knew it was a sprint. I think it's our sprint team, BBM, or maybe it's our BBM team, but sprint, BBM, big board, German Shepherd, and puppy super flex. So it's just fun to look at that kind of stuff. Any that you want to look at in your pod, Steve, or your portfolio of lone guys?
No, we don't have to. But yeah, no, I think I do recommend it for people to do individually. Yeah, Philip Rivers.
So yeah, I mean, I just have to see if anybody did it. I highly doubt it. Was there? No, it doesn't even show up. But that would be absolutely hysterical. If someone he wouldn't be after 5 years. That's amazing. Could you imagine if you did just keep drafting like Tom Brady? Remember the year after he did, he was still in the. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, do you think Tom Brady is like prepping for his Fox appearance this week and is like, I could do it. I could have done it.
Yeah. No, I mean, apparently the Colts called like Derek Carr also, and some
really
you guys have recently retired.
I mean, that makes sense. That's the only thing you could do. And again, the state of the union for quarterbacks is these old quarterbacks, that can see the field, and still have enough of an arm. Sure, it's a noodle arm compared to what they had, obviously, but they're better than these young quarterbacks that can't make good decisions. So that is very interesting. Mike Rob, so sweet side note, not try to do self-promotion. What time CBS? Just 11 a.m. tomorrow, but now the CBS Fantasy Football Today DFS show is now live. So it's live tomorrow on Fantasy Football Today. The DFS show is live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you on that. DJ Quill, hello to everybody. Hello, and good luck in playoffs to you, DJ Quill. We got Frank Evans and King of Kings. I was looking through different pods and I was like, King of Kings, King of Kings. He is just so sharp in best ball. And good luck to you, Frank. Hope you have a great playoffs. Hope to meet you in the finals. Yeah, the Philip Rivers call was. I remember when Tom Brady the year after, but yeah, I guess 5 years later, no Philip Rivers. That is funny though. All right. So no other low-owned ones you wanted to look up potentially? Any other skeleton keys here on the on this?
I do think we can, because the other thing is leveraging some of these injuries. And so far we haven't seen it. I know Kyle Pitts might be out again also, but with Drake London being out, does this make a big Bijan game? Or Darnell Mooney, does he actually get into the box? Or another one that actually probably has a little bit more relevance is sounds like Parker Washington will miss again, and obviously nobody drafted Parker Washington, but that's going to help Brian Thomas Jr. That's going to help Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, terrible year. What is Brian Thomas? That's a great question. 4%. Yeah, he's the lowest of all, even lower than Burrow, I think. So yeah, that's really, really interesting. All right. Now, Steve, let's talk through, the ways to sprint. Sprint marathon is different with these week-to-week playoff style contests. You are living week to week. Every week is its own thing. But with marathon and sprint, you really are now looking at that 3 weeks. And just showing last year, I'm going to bring over Fantasy Pros scoring from last year. Just want to show the power of 3 weeks. So that after, say it's not exactly what you wanted week 15, there is still hope. Maybe you won't get first or whatever if you really, really need one particular player or but this is, let's look at running back scoring, and we can do half point PPR, and we can do the week 15 through 17 last year. So let's do custom. What is going on? Why is my screen jumping? All right, let me do this and you talk about that as I try to figure it out behind the scenes. My tech skills are.
You have the same window open twice.
Is that it? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Let me try to open it again. Okay, but anyways, talk about any of that kind of stuff, and I'll actually pull it up in Fantasy Pros in just a minute. And that just shows, for marathon sprint, you are just sweating out that 3 week cumulative score for both of those now.
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, Josh Allen was the absolute nuts week 1 of sprint season and marathon, but then didn't have two of the good games. And I remember looking at this during the summer, and I believe there was only one running back. I think it was Jahmyr Gibbs, who had 20 or more points in all 3 weeks. And that's because David Montgomery got hurt. If David Montgomery doesn't get hurt in the first quarter of week 15, that might not even happen. I think Trey McBride was the only tight end to have 10 or more points in all 3 weeks. And I believe there was one receiver who escapes me. I don't think it was Neighbors, but only, I believe, one receiver had 20 or more points. So it's not easy to have these spike weeks, week in, week out. And I think only 4 quarterbacks had 20 or more points. That was Baker, Lamar, Goff, and one other, if I remember right.
I'm bringing it over now so we can get to the good stuff. I find this to be very, very interesting because I think, people, and Saquon was still, this is running back scoring weeks, 2024 running back scoring week 15 through 17, half point PPR. As you mentioned, Jonathan Taylor just went off all 3 weeks. So he scored, he actually had the most total points of 76 total points during those weeks, 73.6 for Gibbs, 63.2 for Cook, then Bijan, then Tajay actually, and then Connor, who didn't even end up finishing, he only played the beginning of week 17 because I know that crushed you. And then Saquon was 7th, Henry was 8th. So Saquon had and Henry had a really bad week 15, but they had a really amazing week 16 and great week 17, good to great week 17. They were still finished running back 7 and 8 through the whole 3 weeks. So it really is the full, the full picture. Josh Jacobs was up there. Chase Brown was up there. Of course, there were some later running backs like, Bucky and Tajay Spears and that kind of stuff. So that's why it was really like a mix last year of like the, as far as playoffs were concerned, like that robust build or zero build or kind of like a hybrid build, but probably a hybrid build with like a Jonathan Taylor or Gibbs or, Barkley or Henry with like a, Chase Brown or something like that was probably, I think that's one of the BBM winner may have had with JT and Chase Brown. I could be wrong, but really shows that it is the cumulative for the 3 weeks. Anything else on running backs if I go over to quarterback?
Yeah, even JT, I can't remember, I think it was week 15 or 16. He had a sub 20-point game. He had 2 great games, but he had a sub 20-point game.
This is hysterical. I'm sorry. Which week did he have a sub 20-point game?
I can't remember. It obviously wasn't week 17. He was running back 1, but the point being is even there, you could have had somebody else replace him.
Meg versus Tech is the week 15 matchup we didn't know we needed. Meg versus Tech is always one of the most difficult matchups every single week. And as Jeff Cooley, one of the new Fanspeak Degen subscribers, thanks to the wonderful Jamie P. Rogg, who raffled off a subscription. If you're not first, you're last. Shout out to, oh my God, I just blanked on the movie, Steve. I'm good with movie names. But
Talladega Nights.
Thank you. There it is. All right. Now looking at quarterbacks, it was Jaden was number 1. Week 15 wasn't that great, but had a monster week 16 and that Eagles comeback in week 17. Right behind him, I mean, Jaden and Goff were super close, 0.2 points. So it's Jaden Goff were the top, then Lamar at 29, then Baker 29, Burrow 25.9, Josh Allen, as you said, scores like 45 points week 15, but then very low scoring week 16, maybe mid scoring week 16 and low scoring week 17. So ended up being QB6, 25.5. So it really is the full 3 weeks in these types of sweats. Then Mahomes, Herbert, Darnold, Nix to round out the top 10. So yeah, no, that's very, it's just good to keep in mind if your player has one bad week. Just out of curiosity, receivers, BTJ, who has struggled tremendously this week. Of course, Higgins. So Higgins scored more. So people talk about, so where did Chase finish? Jamar Chase?
14th.
Yeah. So 14th, Jamar Chase scored a total of 48 points during the fantasy playoffs. Nobody talks about that. Would they just talk about like Saquon and Henry busting? They scored more than him. So Henry scored 50. Barkley scored 53. But everybody talks about, because they dudded. Well, Chase, Jamar Chase, I think had one dud week, one great week, one just average week 17. So, because obviously Higgins smashed. Higgins, it was BTJ, Higgins, Evans, of course. That's why maybe he is a low on skeleton key. I don't know. Monra, Neighbors, of course. Devontae, Jefferson, Devonta Smith, JMO, Xavier Worthy to round out the top 10. And I knew Ladd McConkey was up there. He's 12. So just really, really interesting. And finally, tight ends last year, just again, to contextualize, if you have a rough week 15 and you're in the marathon sprint, you still have hope because it really is that 3 week cumulative score. It was Laporta, McBride, Kittle, Andrews, Jonnu, which Kittle, Jonnu were, up there in top scoring, and Brock Bowers, Jonnu, Chig, Brock Bowers, Kelsey, Foster Moreau, and good old Zach Ertz came through for us week 17. Shout out to him. And we are definitely missing him this year. So any other thoughts on that, Steve?
No. And it's, ideally you're getting a balance because like you said, like really outside of like Gibbs and again, I can't remember which receiver it was who had 20 points every single week. I think it was JMO now that I think about it because Detroit did really well. And then losing Monty.
That's right. I had needed him for my Bulldog.
No, actually wasn't. Anyways, doesn't matter. The point is, like, in these formats, you're not, and it's the same with the playoff. It's just, the down week 15 could kill you. Here in sprint, it doesn't necessarily kill you. Whether, it was like Henry had like a 6-point game. Like, as long as you had another running back get you like 15 points, you would still be able to survive and have a really good total sprint last year because Henry had good weeks 16 and 17. So
exactly.
And Josh Allen being like kind of the poster boy for it of the absolute guy you wanted week 15 and then total duds Not really his fault, just total team blowouts, 16-17.
Well, let's talk about that now because we got to get you out of here in the next 10 minutes. Steve will be on with Neil Orfield and Jake Tribby on the cage match on Fantasy Points at 7 p.m.
Yep.
All right, so let's let this rip for the next 5 or 10 minutes here. Tops, Steve, because we need to get you over there. NFL schedule week 15. This is the sweat we have upon us. Falcons, Bucks on Thursday night. Browns, Bears, Ravens, Bengals, Cardinals, Texans, Jets, Jaguars, Chargers, Chiefs, Bills, Patriots. I think will be a really fun one. Commanders, Giants, Raiders, Eagles. And is that Monday night? No,
I don't think so.
Okay, why does this still say? I mean, okay, it's just the odds in the way. Sorry. Packers, Broncos. These are the 4:00 game. Lions, Rams, Panthers, Saints, Colts, Seahawks. Do we see Phillip Rivers? I hope so. Titans, 49ers, Vikings, Cowboys Sunday night, and Dolphins, Steelers Monday night. Who, in your mind, this week 15, we'll keep this quick, has some of the best matchups and who has the worst? Best first. Who, obviously, the teams we've loved to target all season is the Bengals, is now kind of the Jets, is Bill's run game, Commanders defense, terrible. Dallas has improved certainly. So who do you think of week 15 has some of the best matchups?
Well, I think the 49ers against the Titans. And
yeah.
Shador Sanders have a 300+ yard game.
Yeah.
So I think that's big. I think the Seahawks passing game against the Colts, particularly, Sauce Gardner, and particularly if there is any sort of pushback. Lions secondary has not been strong. Dak still put up 370 yards last Thursday night, just some bad run out with how it all went down. So, Stafford and Adams and Puka should definitely be looking good. Eagles against the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders defense is atrocious.
Eagles offense ain't looking so good, but no, absolutely.
But this could be another Saquon, could be back-to-back Saquon weeks, like guy who's been very quiet all year.
Yeah.
And he's a low on guy because the guys you took around him, Bijan, Gibbs, McCaffrey, just far better. So, and then Jags versus Jets also.
Yeah. No, that's a big one. That's a big matchup. And I mean, shout out. Wish we had Cam Scatterbo live, drinking game.
You would have 60 points.
Oh my God. So depressed that Cam Scatterbo is not live against Washington this week. But for the dark teams, no Neighbors, no Scatterbo. So depressing.
JJ McCarthy had the greatest game of his career.
Yeah. Probably. Pour one out. I'm so depressed that Scatterbo and Neighbors aren't there because I drafted so much of both. But for the dark teams, you push through. Maybe he does something there. I think Bills Patriots could be a great game environment. I will say that. And then the opposite, the opposite situation, got to be and Ravens Bengals should be another great game environment. We just saw it 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving night. I hope for the Bengals exposure, I push through. Sorry, Mike Robb, earmuffs. I hope we, do get that Joe Burrow explosion. I hope Higgins plays. But that, I think hopefully that's still a fun and game environment. The opposite situation, Cardinals gauntlet matchup against the Texans, Chargers, Chiefs. I think that could be lower scoring than it was the Friday night, in what country was that? Sao Paulo in Brazil. Right.
Brazil, yeah.
I was like, I'm going to mess this up somehow. But Packers, Broncos, tough defenses there. Of course, Colts going against Seahawks. I'm worried about my JT bags. And of course, Phillip Rivers starting Seahawks. Very good defense. What do you think about Vikings defense against Cowboys? That Flores blitz, it can be tough. Obviously I just have a ton of Dak Dallas exposure week 15. What do you think about this Sunday night matchup?
Yeah, I would look at it that nobody's really been able to stop Dallas. I guess maybe the Broncos, but Eagles should have been a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Dak coming with a big game. Chiefs definitely should have been a tough matchup. Another big game. So I guess I'm not too worried. Vikings have been hit or miss, but it's more like they picked on like bad teams or gotten teams at a bad week. But we saw, obviously, and this was half a season ago, but Eagles had their best passing game against this team.
Yeah.
The Lions a couple weeks ago, JMO and Amon-Ra just missing 100 that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they started bad. Goff had a couple turnovers, but overall they did well. So, I think Dak, particularly if Lamb is back and they have those two elite weapons, can be fine.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. Whew, please, 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 please. I need all my Dak Dallas exposure for sure. Mike Rob, this is hysterical. Love it, Steve. Get close to Neil so he lets his guard down next summer during best ball Jeopardy. You strike to kill. Absolutely hysterical. Good to see you, stars. The time has come indeed. Best ball players, playoffs is upon us. Good luck to you in playoffs. May we meet in finals. Let's do a quick look at week 16, 17, and then get out of here. Week 16 starts Rams Seahawks on Thursday night. That's going to be a tough one for the Rams teams pushing through, tough defense. Then you've got, again, for your Eagles exposure, offense doesn't look great, but a great matchup against Commanders. Packers Bears, we just saw this matchup last week, so that'll be interesting. Bucks Panthers, we thought Panthers would be a total pushover defense. It hasn't been that way. So that's one that's not necessarily what we thought going into the season necessarily, but will be interesting, hopefully with Mike Evans back. Bills Browns, not great game environment likely, and then likely in cold Cleveland. Chargers Cowboys, I'm hoping to have a lot of exposure to both, hoping for a massive game environment and potential shootout there, though, Cowboys defense is improved. Chargers defense is good. Saints, Jets, that, just two bad teams going up against each other. Vikings, Giants, Bengals, Dolphins. This is a Chiefs, Titans, obviously good matchup for the Chiefs. Bengals, Dolphins is the one I think everybody wants to talk about because do you still feel like Dolphins could be a team that you could get, then you'd have 2 good weeks with Ravens, Dolphins, and then they play Cardinals week 17. What do you think about the Dolphins matchup?
Oh, I think
still an excellent
matchup. Want
to
target them, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Falcons, Cardinals, Jags, Broncos, tough matchup for the Jaguars. Steelers, Lions, hopefully that could be a fun and game environment. And then Raiders, Texans, Patriots, Ravens on Sunday night, got flexed into Sunday Night Football, and 49ers, Colts. My two guys, I hope just a run fest in that one. Any other notes on week 16 before we go to the week 17?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Week 17, wait, did I do this right? That's not right because I went to week 18. Yeah. Okay. Christmas Day, Cowboys, Washington, Lions, Vikings, Broncos, Chiefs. Obviously tough matchup for the Chiefs. Easy matchup for the Cowboys. Please let Dak and them go crazy on Washington. Lions, Vikings, that'll be certainly interesting for the Lions. We've seen mixed results with the Brian Flores defense. Any other comments on the Christmas Day matchups?
No. I think, we know the Cowboys can put up big points against Washington. Already did it once this year.
And it'll be interesting to see how the Lions do against in Minnesota. Then you have Texans, Chargers. I'm bummed for my Chargers bag because that Texans defense is ridiculous. Ravens, Packers. These are the Saturday games. So that should be interesting because, like you said, there's a lot of good defensive battles here. So Don't know that we're going to get the points we want there, but we'll see. You never know. Seahawks, Panthers. Then on Sunday, Seahawks, Panthers, Cardinals, Bengals. Obviously a good matchup for the Cardinals, but they're a 3-10 team, but you never know. Bengals, good matchup for them too. Steelers, Browns, probably not a great game environment. Jaguars, Colts, we just saw this. How will it be with Phillip Rivers? And Bucks, Dolphins, that's something week 17, Bucks, Dolphins. Do we get the Bucks, Dolphins of the BBM3 season where Mike Evans went ham? That I think is one to watch. Patriots, Jets, not a great game environment, but a good matchup for the Patriots. Saints, Titans, don't think people really have a ton of exposure to those teams. Giants, Raiders, not two bad teams. Eagles, Bills was one people were stacking up. Bears, 49ers, and Rams, Falcons. Those are ones that people are stacking up. That's 4:00 Sunday night and Monday night. Wrap up with those, Steve. How do you see those potential matchups? Who's got the best edge in those matchups as far as like having good matchups, obviously? Yeah,
I think unfortunately the Rams might not have a lot to play for. They might have it all wrapped up by that Monday. So there is a concern there, depending on how the rest of the 1 seed and the Seahawks go. Just because I don't see any pushback from the Falcons, but I think the most interesting one is Bears 49ers. 49ers defense is real bad. Bears has been a little better.
Yeah.
we've also seen them susceptible as well. So that Sunday night game could be super fun.
Well, and I think people will have a lot of exposure to those two teams. So this Sunday night could be massive for, all your week 17 sweats. But I think we covered it all, Steve. Advance rate. Teams were excited about how to sweat, especially week 15, injuries, low-owned players on our teams, how to sweat out the marathon sprint, which is very different. And of course, matchups weeks 15, 16, 17. Jeff says, has Pickens regressed to a whiner? I hope he bounces back because he's behaved pretty much all season, but we need him to come through for these last 3 weeks. And then, and with this close game today, Meg squeezed it out over Tech. 21-17. Glad to see a strong bounce back performance so close to the playoff run. That's absolutely hysterical. Always a struggle with Meg versus Tech. Wheels Up says, taking account how you finished this year, your outlook, strategic edges, the things you liked or disliked, do you anticipate playing more or less volume next year? Always more, I think. But good to see Wheels Up.
Hoping for more.
Hoping for more. No, this is the format of DFS and everything. Underdog dailies. We love best ball the best. And that's why we'll just keep continuing this amazing best ball content that we had last year and, go right into playoff best ball and then best ball big board and 2026 best ball. We appreciate you. Got to get Steve out of here to get onto the cage match. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us. Good luck in best ball playoffs. Have a great week 15. We'll see you tomorrow for Degen Power Hour at 5 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fanspeak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets, they built it brick by brick, no regrets.